awful, man. Before we were talking about the book, so again, just reiterate what we were talking about before. AEW sort of beats you to the punch with this book. You said, they had blocked you. Tony Khan's blocked you. And that, not that it's like a personal dig or they're watching you or anything, but, they're marks for themselves, I think. And Tony Khan booked himself a book, as I put it, and they have this AEW book dropping relatively quickly. You are the guy that everyone's like, oh, he's dropping a book or he's grifting or whatever the people have to say about you. I know we're friends. You're dead serious about this goddamn book. I've been like, bro, you got to put it out year by year. Volume 1 is just the first year. Volume 2 is the second year, or maybe not in volumes, rather. You can call it volume, whatever you want to do. But either way, chapter 1, chapter 2, book 1, book 2, whatever. Do each year, because they're going to encompass 6 years and they're just going to celebrate all the highs. And then, of course, I made the joke, what are they going to celebrate? WBD sells off DC, but at least AEW stood strong with 600K viewers. What is that? How does this book end? It's weird. But it's all good. I mean, they're a company. They're going to sort of control their own history, a la WWE. Give me your thoughts on the book and just everything I was bibbling and babbling about there, now that you're on a better mic.
Yeah, like I said, you had asked me earlier if I was worried about how quickly it came out. Nope, it doesn't bother me at all. Like I said, I think I said earlier before I was trapped on Mars, Keith Elliott Greenberg is a big hitter in the professional wrestling literary world. So if there's one person that he can do that can do that sort of thing, it's Keith Elliott Greenberg. The problem is that what kind of book is it going to be? Is it going to be a neutral book? Is it going to be it's obviously not going to be a hit piece. You know what I mean? It's going to be published with AEW's money, I'm sure. So is Keith Elliott Greenberg, is he compromised in how much truth he's supposed to talk about? Is he going to talk about Big Swole? Or is he going to talk about...
What do you mean? Tony Khan won't even talk to Big Swole, let alone they're going to talk about Big Swole.
1,000 WBD employees getting laid off right before AEW struck their deal with WBD. But nobody likes to talk about that, especially during the times when WWE does their little bus flip. Credit to Wrestling Soup for that little that great line. When they do their bus flip and people get released.
It has been happening, dude. I've been calling it the AEW Exodus of 2025. I called it last year, and it's happening, man. And the Righteous are 2 more guys. We were just talking about them. So this book, we have the graphic here. It looks like a thickie, and it says this book is all elite. So, of course, they're marks for themselves, and it's called This Book is All Elite, the inside story of All Elite Wrestling. So, the inside scoop, really. What did Cody Rhodes contribute to this thing? That's what I want to fucking know.
At least he's on my cover.
Available in hardcover. Available in hardcover and ebook in fall of 2025. Coming soon, dude. So they beat you to the punch, dude. Pre-order your copy now wherever books are sold. I'm going to chat. If you guys want, I will on Patreon or something read the book. I'll do an audiobook version of it, and I'll do all my impressions and shit, because it's going to be great. I'm surprised the header on the book isn't, it's great.
Yeah, really.
So awful, man. Are you jealous? Be honest.
No, I'm not jealous. I mean, somebody quote tweeted one of my obviously trolling posts about this whole thing, and they were like, they tried to claim that I invented books. So I'm like, no. It's obviously it's a little humor. I really don't believe that they're doing this because of me, but I do believe that they're doing it as a counteraction to what a lot of the narrative against AEW is all about. And I'm not the only one. You know what I mean? They've got to put out some fluff piece in literary form before any other book comes out. That's just how it goes.
Yeah. This will be the equivalent of when Pokemon would put out those Pokédexes you'd get in Scholastic or whatever when I was a kid. Yeah. How do you feel about Britt Baker being featured on the cover of this thing and no Swerve Strickland?
Listen, no black people at all on the cover.
Oh,
of
you
the
don't
book.
say.
I mean, no Jade Cargill, no Swerve Strickland, no Prince Nana, no Powerhouse Hobbs, but there is the Young Bucks dead set in the middle where everybody's eye will be trained to. It's the most amazing thing. Cody, like I said, Cody's nowhere to be found on this book. The book looks like it looks like a DVD set.
It looks like on this episode of Dragon Ball.
Yeah, how many pages are they going to have? And I guarantee you, like a third of the book will encapsulate how everybody was feeling the months and weeks and days leading up to All In Wembley, their very first one. And then they'll spend the next chapter talking about how everybody was celebrating over it in catering.
So it says Random House Worlds to publish this book is All Elite, a definitive history, no Cody Rhodes, no Brandi Rhodes, no Sonny Kiss, no. A definitive, but for real, I mean, they paraded her out there. A definitive history of All Elite Wrestling by New York Times bestselling author Keith Greenberg in November 2025. So on November 4, Random House Worlds, an imprint of Random House. Okay, I don't care. This book is All Elite is a celebration of the icons of professional wrestling who created AEW, a company that revolutionized professional wrestling under the visionary eye of Tony Khan. Visionary eye. Redoing all the shit that's been done in PWG and New Japan and all that shit is visionary, I guess. Crazy, man. From the company's unassuming beginnings in 2019 to the record-breaking Wembley Stadium debut, AEW's pulse-pounding, death-defying, and high-flying action has defied industry norms and changed the world of professional wrestling forever. I mean, illustrated with dazzling photography and written with exclusive access to the cast and crew of AEW. This book is All Elite is a definitive history of AEW that delves into the innovative storytelling, inclusive ethos, and passionate inclusive ethos. What you mean, like the legless dude?
Yeah.
And passionate fan base, which propelled the company to compete with the industry giants. Who are the industry giants? WWE
Giants. Yeah.
Giant. Yeah.
That
from the triumphant final. What's that?
Nothing. Go ahead.
I was going to say, and Harvey Weinstein from the triumphant final run of the Icon Sting. That Tony Khan booked side by side with his firebrand protege, Darby Allin. The guy on the mountain who hasn't been on TV in fucking months, to the madcap melee of the first Stadium Stampede. Now, Awful, how do you feel about people putting Stadium Stampede over like it's this fucking thing that A, hasn't been done to some degree already, and B, it's just War Games, but all over the place?
Yeah,
and then they just
big
did Matt Hardy
arena.
They just did. You mean WWE didn't do a fucking Money in the Bank where everybody fought through the office and fought on the roof? You mean they weren't doing that shit? It's like, what was so innovative about a fucking concession stand brawl, but just done with Matt Hardy jokes where he's transforming into different characters or whatever?
Wow. Yeah, I mean, didn't Jerry Lawler and Terry Funk do this same thing? I mean, big ass empty arena. Nobody there to judge it, to there's no way to react to the crowd. Come on.
Yeah.
Stadium Stampede. Then they're going to talk about the Arthur Ashe Stadium. I can see it now. Like, I can see each and every chapter, and they're just going to be licking each other's ass about talking about, like, how they pulled it out. Because as you can see, in their earlier stages of AEW, they were doing the same goddamn thing, like, we pulled it out. We're great.
Right.
We're doing great.
Well,
and it's just
awful.
Like,
They take victory laps for kicking Punk out of the company in an empty fucking Chicago. They take victory laps when they're like, Tony's booking a great show, or like, oh, they had a 1.3 million lead in from NBA and then 1 million people stopped watching. Victory lap. Like, they can't help themselves. Let's read the rest of this, because I got a question for you as well, because the big part that, is like, okay, how do they cover the Punk stuff? And I can't wait to get to that. I'll get your thoughts in a second, but it says, illustrated with dazzling photography and written with exclusive access to the cast and crew of AEW. This book is all elite is a definitive history of AEW that delves into the innovative storytelling, inclusive ethos. I think I read that. Stadium Stampede. Yeah, we already read that. Readers will experience the epic moments that define the first 5 years of AEW. Written by New York Times best-selling author and TV producer Keith Greenberg. This book, and he's legit. This book is all elite, follows fans to relive the biggest moments in AEW. So the first year, every breathtaking match, shocking twist, headlining, making moment. About the author, so he's a New York Times bestseller. Menudo, To Be the Man, Eric is Homeless, Zach Story. He's a regular writer of professional wrestling. Freddie Blassie, Ric Flair, Billy Graham, about AEW. Founded by CEO, GM, and head of creative Tony Khan in 2019. He has to give himself 9 names. Anyways, though, awful. How are they going to cover the CM Punk stuff? Because it just sounds like this is all amazing, innovative, revolutionary, shock the world, epic. Right. But none of it's like, well, we fucking ghosted a bunch of people. Okay, maybe not that one, but how about like, we left CM Punk at an airport and our EVPs who are on the cover of this thing got beat up by a one-armed dude.
The CM Punk issue, is the least of their issues, because now we got to talk about Big Swole. We got to talk about the Domino's Pizza.
But the releases, they can just go. They can just say disgruntled employees. I'm talking like Matt Hardy got dropped off a crane and he got. How about the multiple people concussed and fucking who had to get up and that they stood up and the knocked up. Yeah, that's good. Is that going to be in there? That's not going to be in there. The Punk stuff is going to be covered like, oh, well, Tony Khan handled it and he was advised by lawyers. Like, we're just going to get the same bullshit. It's not like
they're going to handle it in the same way that they've handled it on TV. And that is like, it's going to be a gloss over. It's going to be done for storyline purposes. You'll hear more about Jungle Boy during that entire thing than you will about CM Punk. I'm almost guaranteeing it. Because, first off, isn't CM Punk even like NDAs and all that? Like, what are you going to be able to expose in this book? And see, that's what people are going to be wanting when you come out with a book like this. They're going to be wanting to know something that they don't already know. They already know that the Young Bucks love AEW and are just going to lick Tony Khan's ass and the whole 9. But what about the people who are stuck there in catering? What about, are we going to hear from Danhausen? We're going to hear from Scorpio Sky, who we haven't heard of,
or Cody Rhodes even. Like, if Cody Rhodes ain't here telling you,
the founding members of the
telling you here's why I left this fucking place, then there's no point in the book even. It's just them pulling an old Vince WWE again. Tony Khan. It's just him rewriting and trying to.
I think it's going to be a picture book, my friend. I really do. Like pictures of the great exploding ring, or pictures of Chris Jericho swimming in mimosa.
Well, it says illustrations. Yeah, that's the thing. Are they going to talk about the little bit of a bubbly? That was genius that Chris Jericho said.
That's what I'm saying. It's going to be a big old fluff book. Go ahead.
It's rewriting history, awful. The same way Vince would do. No, like this is the same shit Vince would do. I've been calling him Tony Khan forever. He's just slowly becoming Vince McMahon. I've been saying it since day one of PWT. This motherfucker needs to figure this out, because again, unless you're going to say get CM Punk going, this is why I left. I guarantee Punk wasn't even talked to, unless you have Brandi and Cody Rhodes saying this is why we left. It's just bullshit. How,
let me tell you something.
Dave Meltzer might as well have wrote this shit. They might as well just quoted the Observer.
They would have been better off, because there are some things that the WWE did as far as their books are concerned. They had this one book called like the Encyclopedia of Everything WWE or whatever. And that book still has some relevancy to it. If AEW would have done the same thing, like a roster and a bio of just every one of their stars, their talents, that book might have done something, because now it's a compendium. It's something that you're going to take a look at over and over and over again, because you're going to want to see some stats that you may not have ever heard or seen before or whatever. but don't make it the story of AEW, because the greatest parts of AEW, excuse me, was 2 years ago, and it involved, two former WWE champions, CM Punk and Cody Rhodes, that catapulted your entire stock. It's going to be a tough book. I look forward to how he's going to really dangle. Hey, he's a best-selling author. He'll know how to do it.
For sure he will. And here's the thing: we're this inclusive ethos. Okay, you signed and paraded out Sonny Kiss and Nyla Rose, and now where are they? You guys crowned your black champion too late, after people were like virtue signaling for it way too hard after, like, it was, and he pulled the trigger on it too late. Like, same thing he did with the daddy ass guys, right? I've heard the Acclaimed, right? He pulled the trigger on them too late and stuff. And then you put Britt Baker, someone who's like ostracized from the company right now, and over someone like a Swerve or even like a Thunder Rosa. I mean, as much as Britt Baker, what did she do? Like run people off from AEW or whatever, like get in fights with people backstage? Are they going to address any of that? Fucking no. And like, we're going to do health insurance and shit. CM Punk is paying for his own surgeries. Like, they're not going to talk about any of the real shit, dude. They're not going to talk about, we ran these fucking giant buildings and there's 1,000 people in them. They're not going to bring that up and talk about what the atmosphere is like backstage or anything. Jesus Christ. You might as well have let AEW Mole write the fucking book. There might be more truth to it.
Their refs are. Yeah, really. Shout out AEW Mole. But, I mean, I see some people in the comments saying, like, I might read it. I know I'm definitely going to read it. I'll take pointers from anybody that I can, but as far as how well it's going to do, that remains to be seen. But
do you even care about? Wait, though, do you even care about that? How well this fucking book does? Like, books, a lot of people become authors. A lot of people get on like Amazon bestseller and stuff like that. Not saying it's like an easy task, but it's also, I mean, I think they could sell enough books for that week. They make the New York Times bestseller or whatever. I bet they could pull it off somehow. Especially if I buy 10 of them, and then they can say it's a New York Times bestseller. Yeah.
I'll take that bet. I say it won't be on the New York Times bestseller list.
It won't make it?
Yeah, it won't make it.
Oh, wow. See, I think they could pull it off, especially if they're selling the book. They buy a bunch to sell as merch on
You got to understand something, Phil. They've got to market this thing correctly.
Well,
and what do we know about AEW and marketing? It's absolutely terrible. Tell me, Phil, how do you think they're going to market this book? They've marketed everything else, and it's
Excalibur's going to read really fast. Hey, I tell you exactly how they're going to market it. Excalibur's going to say, "Give me 1 second. This book is All Elite is a celebration of the icons of professional wrestling who created All Elite Wrestling, a company."
Yeah,
that's how it's going to get marketed during Collision, right before commercial.
But I'm interested to see how it's going to sell, because how important in the social zeitgeist is AEW. This book, as far as the literary world is concerned, are people interested in reading? Are they interested in reading about pro wrestling? And after that, are they interested in reading about AEW as it relates to pro wrestling? So, yeah, those are a lot of tiers to climb.
Yeah. In the words of the great Lex Luger,
I don't know.
Darby Allin's climbing a mountain. I think he set a world record. Awful. I was roasting you a bit. I was just twisting titties, but you were like, he climbed up. I think I have it bookmarked, but he's up 20,958 feet at his Mount Everest camp, and he hits a kickflip. I guess this is a world record kickflip.
Oh, there you go. All right, we are at Everest Camp 2, and the elevation is, pull out the watch for official proof. You got it? Let me see this bad boy.
I wonder if when he gets to the top, Sting is going to pop out of nowhere, and Tony Schiavone's going to be like, "It's Sting!"
The highest masked wrestler to ever ascend Mount Everest.
Is it?
I'm sure it is. Goddamn, he's made his own world record about a kickflip. I mean, I don't see Guinness there or anybody documenting this.
Well, it's documented on a phone, bro.
For highest elevation.
They filmed this in a stage studio. This is where they filmed the moon landing.
Capricorn 1.
Oh my god, dude! Just watch The Shining. They hid shit. They hid stuff about the moon landing in The Shining. They hid stuff about Everest in Godzilla versus King Kong.
It's not really cold out there.
Yeah. They're actually in the desert. This is CGI. It's actually sand.
Right there's Everest.
Stanley Kubrick directed this in a soundstage just off of the coast of Jared Leto's compound. The question is, who are you? Brandon Cutler asks, and I pose the same question, Brandon. Who exactly are you? I'm sorry, I'm an asshole. Do you get a kick? You want to see Brandon Cutler come back? Awful.
He is. I mean, where's he been?
Yeah.
And no, I don't. To answer your goddamn question, no, I don't want to see him back in any sort of form or function. But back
are
to
you sure?
The Darby Allin thing for a second.
Yeah.
It's so hilarious. I realize that a lot of people are atheists, first off. Because in the comment section, they were like, Ray, the fuck are you talking about?
I know, dude. I saw Aunt Evans sent you the Care Bears. Yeah. He's like, what do you mean good energy? Like the fucking Care Bears? I say the same shit, though. I'm like, guys, when someone RIPs, I'm like, prayers and good energies or whatever you do, just in your thoughts, yeah.
What do you think, Philly's going to make it? You coming back?
Well, yeah, this is it right here. Aunt Evans prayers like this. Too good. Okay, but Darby Allin is about 20. You read it, Awful. You read the goddamn tweet. Darby Allin is about 21,000 feet. Get into it.
Yeah, 21,000 feet into his 29,000 foot ascent of Mount Everest. At 28,000 feet. Excuse me. Hold on. Let me enlarge this picture here.
At 26,000.
At 26,000 feet, Allin will reach what's known as the death zone, a higher portion of the mountain where the oxygen is low, the weather is extreme, and the mortality is highest. This week is critical, so keep prayers up, or good energy, or juju, or whatever the fuck you want to call it.
Or do the Care Bear countdown.
Now,
5, 4, 3, 2.
Yeah, really. How do you work this into a storyline? You've climbed.
He does
Mount
the
Everest.
coffin drop off it onto a Yeti, onto the Yeti. And Shivani's like, it's the Yeti. I'll tell you, Darby Allin lights himself on fire and then coffin drops into a snowbank. Yeah, to keep warm. And then they bring the Yeti back, and Shivani's there and is like, winter's coming. It's Sting. No, dude, but for real, like, do you think he plants an AEW flag? I think that's what he's going to do.
I think that's going to be the only, I'm on record as saying is like, I don't think he should do that. I think now he should do that. It's not a bad thing.
How do they turn?
Now,
he gets to the top and Glacier's there and he has to feed Glacier from WCW.
Maybe the pole breaks on the on the way up. A strong gust of wind just blows that bitch right off the mountain. So,
oh my god,
we'll see.
Stone Cold Steve Austin at the top, and he's like, me and Glacier gonna open a can of whoop ass on you.
Here's the highest stunner, bitch.
Oh my god. I'm so sorry.
Good luck to Darby
ahead.
Allin. Hopefully you make it down in one piece. The descent is actually the dangerous part of climbing Mount Everest. So, we'll see about that.
The descent is the most dangerous?
Oh, wow. As I'm doing some research, it's just like because you've lost a lot of energy. Now, there are base camps and all that. I'm sure there's somebody going to be in the chat going to teach me, better than what Grok told me.
And he weighs 40 pounds, dude. He's fine. He's
a thin boy. And, well, good luck to him. Hopefully he'll make it back in time for All In and the 14,000 people that will be there.
Well, yeah, and I do hope he's all good and makes it down. Like, that is crazy, and I'm glad that he's
but if he dies,
living his best life.
I mean, that's how it goes.